Hey guys, Shadia here, and I know that you guys have been listening to my podcasts that I've been putting up over the past month, and I've been getting lots of emails and DMs from you guys saying, could you help me out with a certain situation, whether, whatever the subjects may be. So what I've decided to do is a stream of different podcasts on different things that you guys are emailing me about, and then I can answer them through the podcast, and then put it on a blog, and then plant that on my blog as well. So the first one we're going to cover is called The 12 Laws of Karma. Now, do you believe that people who create their own drama deserve their own karma? Let me know. Now, karma is the law of cause and effect. It's an unbreakable law of the cosmos. Your actions create your future. The reason your fate is never sealed is because you have free will, right? Do you agree? Therefore, your future cannot already be written. Now, that just would not be fair. So life gives you chances, and this is one of them, the tree of awakening. Now, karma is a somewhat abstract concept to many of us. There is a lot of confusing information on this non-religious topic, information which is, maybe unnecessary. So we think it would be helpful to paint a bit of a picture to help solidify the concept of karma and what it is. Now, say that we are all willing to go around and help people in any way we see fit, putting coins in expired parking meters, holding doors open for everyone, giving a couple of pounds to a homeless person, buying someone's coffee or tea, etc., etc. The list could go on. Now, 2 questions. What is the possibility? Now, this is what you really have to ask yourself. What is the possibility that the person we've helped will reciprocate or pay it forward? You're just never going to know. And what's the possibility that this action created, will cause a positive source of energy? You're just not going to know. It's a guessing game. And that's a very basic example of everyday karma. Of course, there is a negative karma as well. Gandhi actually explains in such a simple yet profound way, a man is but the product of his thoughts. What he thinks, he becomes. Now, what do you think of that? That's one of those reflection, perception situations. I think he's right. I think a lot of people will judge you by their own standards. They seem to think that you think like them when you don't. And all of this is sort of, is brought into that quote that he's just made there. Now, the great law, which is the first law, as you sow, you shall reap. Now, the simple explanation of the great law is our thoughts and actions have consequences, whether it be good or bad. If we desire peace, love, harmony, prosperity, etc., we must be willing to act accordingly. Now, this is also known as the law of cause and effect. Also, energy that we put into the world has a consequence, immediate or not, it will come round. Now, the next law is the law of creation. What we desire comes through participation. The life we see around us was created by a person's intentions. As we are one with the universe, our intentions determine the evolution of creation. Since what we surround ourselves with becomes part of us, it's our responsibility to ensure that these surroundings are conducive to our desires. Now, the next law is the law of humility. Now, refusal to accept what is will still be what is. And if we go back to one of my podcasts, I spoke to you about, what is done, just accept it. And the law of humility is the person actually refusing to accept what is done. You're actually putting up a barrier. You're causing like a restriction of energy to flow. And acceptance is a near universal virtue in many belief systems. Now, simply put, we must first accept the present circumstance, or we won't accept this present circumstance. It's really up to you. But whether you accept or you don't, there is an order, and it will change. Now, in focusing on the negative instead of making changes to address the negative, we're actually committing to a zero-sum result. Just accept what's happened and be humble. Now, the law of growth. Our own growth is above any circumstance. Now, the only thing we have control over is ourselves. The subsequent action or motive will yield either positive or negative circumstances in our lives. A situation might happen. You might feel that, I'm going to ignore that. It might turn out to be a positive. It might turn out to be a negative. But ultimately, you decide this. And true change only occurs if we make the commitment to change what is in our heart. And it is, again, down to you. Now, the next law is the law of responsibility. Our lives are of our own doing and nothing else. When there is turbulence in our lives, there is often turbulence internally. Now, if we want to change our lives, we must change our frame of mind and surroundings. What do you think? The next one is the law of connection. Everything in the universe is connected, both large and small. Now, our past, present, and future are all connected. As such, we must put in the work to change these connections if we desire something different. And no step first, intermediate, or last is more important in the accomplishment of a task. All of them are required. Now, the next one is the law of focus. Now, one cannot direct attention behind a single task. Absolutely not. Relating to our own spiritual growth, we cannot have negative thoughts or actions and expect to grow spiritually. We have to direct full attention to achieve any desired task and focus. And that's what this law is all about. Now, the next one is the law of hospitality and giving. Demonstrating our selflessness shows true intention. Now, put simply, what we claim to believe must manifest into our actions. Selflessness is a virtue only if we're accommodating something other than ourselves. Without a selfless nature, true spiritual growth is nearly impossible. Now, the next one is the law of change. History has a tendency to repeat itself unless changed. Now, conscious commitment to change is the only method of influencing the past. History will continue along an unconstructive path until positive energies direct it elsewhere. Now, you've heard that term, history repeats itself, and it could be like a generational thing where it's happened in your parents' family, it's now happening in your family. The only thing that you do to make that difference is cause a change, and it's an energy. It has to be a positive energy that you inject to move it in a different direction. Now, the next one is the law of here and now. The present is all we have. Now, looking back regretfully and forward pointlessly robs one of a present opportunity. What do you think? Old thoughts and patterns of behaviour negate the present chance to advance ourselves, so just get rid of them. The next law is the law of patience and reward. Nothing of value is created without a patient mindset. Now, toiling away cannot be circumvented through wishful thinking. Our rewards are claimed only through patience and persistence and nothing else. Rewards are not the end result though. True lasting joy comes from the knowledge of doing what's necessary in the rightful anticipation of a reward that is well earned, and only you can judge that. Now, the next law is the law of significance and inspiration. Now, the best reward is one that contributes to the whole. The end result is of little value if it leaves little or nothing behind. Think about it. And you know what? There you have it. Do you think that you could set yourself a challenge now? If you do this for just 1 month, you will see a dramatic difference. What do you have to lose? Follow the 12 laws of karma and see if you can make a significant, positive, internal, external change and see what happens. Let me know how you go, and I would love for you to comment down below and tell me how it all turned out for you. The next podcast I'll be doing will be up tomorrow, so stay tuned.